Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The woman at this door is Cora Baughman, a retired home healthcare nurse who lives in the trailer next door. The porch belongs to Richard and Barbara Knerem, neighbors her family's been feuding with for about 20 years. Richard's just opened the door, found her standing there, and gone back inside without a word.
My neighbor is over. We don't get along with our neighbor, and now she's currently in my garage, knocking at my door. I would like to remove her so she doesn't get hurt or something happens to her.
A deputy starts toward Werger Road, but he's coming from Edinburgh Township, the far side of a large rural county. 5 minutes after the call, she's still here. Richard goes out a second time to tell her to leave, and this time, he says, she's holding a gun, pointed at him. He photographs her, locks the door, and dials 911 again.
Okay, I didn't speak to you then, sir.
That's fine. My neighbor has a gun, and she's in my garage, pointing it at me. I have the right to go shoot her, don't I?
No.
Why? She's threatening me. She has a gun in my house, on my property.
That second call changes the response. The dispatch log now reads, "Neighbor is in his garage, pointing a gun at him." The deputy runs lights and siren, then cuts them at the end of the road so she won't hear him coming. And Portage County radios Garrettsville's on-duty sergeant, Keith Whan, to back him up. The camera you're watching is his.
She's knocking at my door. I hope she doesn't knock it down before you guys get here.
You said she's knocking on your door now?
Well, our lives are at stake, and one policeman should be able to handle something. Because I can go out there and get rid of it right now.
They're almost there.
Out here, that response takes time. Werger Road is farm country in Windham Township. Long gravel driveways, houses set back off the road. Baughman's trailer and the Knerem house sit side by side. Whan stages up the road at Stanley and Werger, waiting to go in with the deputy on a gun call. Inside the house, the Knerems have moved to a back bedroom, afraid, they later tell state agents, of being shot through their own front window. At 9:31, the dispatcher types her last note before officers arrive. She's trying to break the window and she's pulling on the door handle. Cora Baughman had lived on Werger Road for decades. She held a concealed carry permit and a commercial driver's license, and her one registered pistol stayed in a nightstand at home. Family and neighbors describe no history of violence and no mental illness, just the 20-year property fight with the people next door. 19 minutes after Richard Knerem's first call, both cars turn onto Werger Road. The deputy blocks one side of the driveway, Whan blocks the other. And as the deputy steps out of his cruiser, he sees her come out of the garage, something black in her right hand.
Come out here, let me see your hands now. Come here. Drop it now. Drop what's in your hand. Drop what is in your hand now. Drop it now! Drop it now! Drop what's in your hand now! Ma'am, drop it! You will be shot!
Drop the gun!
Drop what's in your hand now, ma'am! 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 Drop it! Drop it now! Yeah! Drop it! Shot fire! Shot fire! Shot it!
903 Whan, shots fired, start a squad. You got the gun?
Shots fired, subject down.
Yeah, I got
Put the enemy on your back!
You got cuffs? Okay, got this.
6-6, start a squad. 6-6, start a squad.
Whan radios shots fired and calls for a squad. The deputy handcuffs her, and both officers start first aid. Pressure and gauze on the wound. Then Whan sprints back down the driveway for the medical bags.
Stay back!
2 minutes later, the Knerem's doorbell picks up the driveway again, filling with responders. In the garage, deputies rotate through first aid until the ambulance arrives. She's taken to University Hospital Portage Medical Center. At 10:43 that morning, Cora Baughman is pronounced dead. By then, the sheriff's office has already made a call of its own. The shooting will be investigated by the state. Ohio's Bureau of Criminal Investigation handles deputy-involved shootings as an outside agency. Its agents spend the day on Werger Road, photographing, measuring, and interviewing everyone who saw or heard any part of it. Not every exchange that day is cooperative. When a deputy tells Richard Knerem his doorbell video has evidentiary value, Knerem answers that he'll just delete it and starts doing something on his phone. The deputy grabs the phone out of his hand. 2 days later, a detective retrieves the ring recordings, the same clips you've been watching. The scene tells the first part of the story on its own. Spent casings from the deputy's 9mm on the driveway and the garage floor, 2 bullet impacts measured in the garage door and an interior wall, and a black revolver lying on the concrete with blood on the grip. Her grandson, interviewed that same afternoon, is sure that last part can't be right.
There any weapons in the home?
She had a CCW, but we actually looked for that after this happened, and it was in the house with no magazine.
My bathroom's directly behind my bedroom. By the time it got me to go here, and I'm still hearing them screaming right about where the driveway cuts off, and they had their guns out. They gave her plenty of time to drop her gun if she raised it up.
I think it escalated.
Well, even if she did, I've known her very well. If she had a weapon, it was probably a scare tactic. And that's where if the cop had come up on her and told her to drop the weapon, I'm sure she would have.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she would have retaliated toward an officer.
He's right about the nightstand and wrong about the gun. The revolver from the garage floor isn't her registered pistol. It's a Charter Arms off-duty .38 Special, and it was recovered loaded. The lab logs it as a firearm with cartridges. Her own gun is still at home, magazine out, exactly where Aaron said it was. BCI's lab swabs it anyway. On the grip and the cylinder, the major DNA profile matches Cora Baughman. Odds rarer than 1 in a trillion. Her DNA is on the trigger guard and the front sight, and a bloodstain on the grip matches her too. The ATF traces serial number 983960. A Cleveland area man bought the revolver new in 1987 as a backup gun for a security job and sold it around 1990 to a friend who has since died. How it traveled from that sale into Cora Baughman's hand is a question the released records never answer. 3 weeks later, both officers sit for recorded interviews.
By the truck bed, telling her to drop the gun, drop the gun. Drop the gun or you will be shot. And she put her hands, both hands up in the air, still holding the gun in her right hand. I tell her to drop the gun again, still giving her commands to drop the gun. She yells no, turns and points the gun, produces it in my direction. And that's when I fired upon her in fear of my life, the officer with me, and potentially the folks inside the residence that called for help.
As we approached the open of the garage, he yelled, "Drop it." She said no, and then I heard a volley of shots go off.
The feud behind that morning ran 2 decades, and agents hear about it from every direction. Septic complaints to the health department, township inspections the family calls weaponized, fireworks disputes, photographs taken across property lines. The latest septic complaint was 3 weeks old. Nobody who knew her says they saw this coming.
This morning, he said she was fine. She was talking about mowing the grass this evening once all the dew was gone.
Okay, you said she was fine. What do you mean by that?
Just snapped. I mean, I don't. I have no logical explanation to why she would go over there.
The autopsy is performed 2 days later at the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's office. In the version of the file released to the public, the findings and the toxicology results are blacked out. 4 days after the shooting, the sheriff's own investigative sergeant closes his report. It lists Cora Baughman as the suspect in the aggravated burglary of the Knerem residence. The Knerems, for their part, tell the state they were treated less like victims than suspects.
They didn't even care. And it was the most awful experience, the way they spoke to us and everything else. They acted like we were criminals. We didn't do anything. We almost lost our lives that day. No one, not one time yet, has asked us if we were okay.
October 3rd, 2022, BCI closed its investigation and forwarded everything to the Portage County prosecutor. By its own protocol, BCI makes no finding of fault. Whether the shooting was legally justified is a decision for the prosecutor or a grand jury. The released records end there. No charging decision, no grand jury outcome, and no lawsuit appears anywhere in the file. And a search of news coverage through August 2026 finds none. The deputy's name is redacted on every page he appears on. The last date in the case file is October 3rd, 2022.